been a while, Rude, since we've done one of these. Has it not?
It's been SCAR.
Yeah,
but that's the one that you did.
That was just me.
Yeah.
That was me being solo. We're back to something.
A duo.
Well, we're back to something we started doing in COVID times. The COVID sessions, which are still available
online
on all reputable platforms. Yeah. But we were looking at them recently, and we said we should do some more because they were all right. As always, we've always got something to discuss. And you've been reading, Rude.
I have. I've been.
Why have you been reading?
I've been reading a book that David Petraeus has written on modern warfare from 1945 to this very day. Actually, what he says there about successful. Success in warfare is basically the same as success in any kind of business. And he talks about change.
Let's just examine that for a moment. It's really about organising large groups of people.
Correct.
Because it's not war by single combat.
No.
It hasn't been for many years.
Correct.
And directing them to a common goal.
Correct.
Yeah, so the challenge is...
It's nothing new, right?
Yeah.
It's nothing new. And I think what's important there is because there's nothing new, what was valid probably thousands of years ago with the Romans.
What have the Romans ever done for us, Rude?
Aqueducts, roads,
sandals,
sanitation,
running
water.
I'm glad you mentioned
the arch, which allows you to go higher. Concrete.
So much. But additionally, the Romans also were the first people to systematically develop an organisation structure for the military. Cohorts, legions, generals, and as a result were very successful, especially against hordes of unorganised barbarians. Yeah. 2,000 years ago, I believe your people ruled
the modern world.
Ruled the modern world.
That's right.
The ancient world, not the modern world. The key thing, I think, with organisations is the illusion that all power resides at the top, and therefore if you want to change an organisation, it should be top down.
Well, and this brings me to a great quote that's in the book from General David Petraeus, and I'll read it out to you.
Mm-hmm. Please do.
As always with a large organisation, it is one thing for the direction at the top to be changed, but quite another to implement that change throughout the breadth and depth of the organisation. So even in military, where you would think you have very, very strong authority and lines of command and control, it is still difficult to facilitate change throughout, as you mentioned, the breadth and depth of the organisation. And this brings us to something that we've known for quite a while, and perhaps it is this illusion of authority, that authority, it kind of reigns at the top, and what people in those most senior levels of an organisation say is what other people do.
Mm-hmm.
That's not necessarily the case. And the change can really only happen within an organisation at the speed of trust.
Right, and I think it's a very important and interesting point. And let's just work back from that in terms of why trust is important. Because here's the bad news, especially if you're at the top of an organisation, you're probably one of the least trusted people in the organisation. And that's just simply because you do not have the relationships required for trust.
Trust is based on relationships.
Trust is based on relationships. If you're at the top of an organisation, especially the larger the organisation, the lower the trust, simply because you cannot have relationships with everyone in that organisation. So where does trust reside in an organisation? It resides at all levels, and it resides in a small number of key people who are trusted by the lower levels of an organisation. Why is it important that we know who these people are?
Because they're the ones who will either accelerate the process of change or will slow down the process of change. Because if they're not convinced, and if they're trusted, these are clearly, key influential people that others go to for their opinion and for advice. Yeah. And if they're for the change, then
the change will happen, and it will happen fast.
And it will happen fast.
And if they're unsure themselves,
then forget about it. It will slow down and won't happen at all. But anyway,
you've got.
What's this that you're holding up?
What Rudy's holding up here, and it shows very well. A recent Gallup article, 2022 June, how to build trust in the workplace. And funnily enough, they talk about these key influencers and the importance of engaging with the key influencers when you're attempting to make any type of change or introduce any type of change in an organisation. Communication can get siloed, blocked or twisted, which can undermine trust. You can map communication flows with social network analysis, detecting where information and decision making move freely and where they stall. Yeah? And social network analysis, as this article says, it is in many ways a topography of trust. A topography of trust. What they basically mean there is you not only can, but you should understand the trust levels and networks in your organisations, because they're basically key to the rate of change you will achieve.
So if you're a senior executive, if you want your people doing things differently and you want to make that change happen fast,
don't go on a roadshow.
Don't go on a roadshow. I mean, fine, you can go on a roadshow, but make sure you
don't expect the roadshow to work.
Unless you're Taylor Swift. But make sure that you engage those key influencers and have them on board, because they're the ones who are going to be translating your message, whatever it is you say, and make sense of that to people throughout all levels of the organisation. And they'll cut through a lot faster than any glossy pamphlet or any new promo.
Key to change is trust. The key to trust is relationships. You don't have to have relationships with everyone. The relationships you build are with your key influencers.
Because they've already got the relationship.
All right, thank you.
All right.